Are we live? Oh,
All right, we are live. We are live. Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us for our live tonight. We are going to be discussing, are you ready? Are you ready to redefine your life abroad? And we're going to be just talking experience, um, moving abroad and how it has impacted and changed our lives. So we'll start with introductions. My name is Danielle from the Our Family Exodus page. And I'm blanking on what else I could say about myself. My page basically just chronicles my family and our move abroad to Mexico. We moved about a year and a half ago, and it's been one of the best decisions of my life. So that's just a little bit about me. And Dee, you can go next.
Hey everyone, I am Dee Watkins. I have a YouTube channel, Brown Girls Invest Too. My channel is geared toward helping other Black and Brown women save more, spend less, and grow their money through investing in the stock market. I moved to Mexico 2 years ago. I started in Guadalajara, and I've been in San Miguel de Allende since the end of December, this past December. Uh, that's it.
Allum's up
Who's
next.
next?
Girls next.
oh, it's me. Oh, the
It
sound
is
kind of
you.
went out. Hi, everyone. I'm Allum, one half of our Exodus Life, 100% finding Allum. And we moved to Mexico last year and have been enjoying life here. Um, my brain blanked, but all year. It's been a long day.
Who's next?
Tracy's up.
This is so unprofessional. Like every
We tired.
so, my name is Tracie Collins. Thank you guys so much for joining us and the team from Redefining Your Life Abroad. My channel focuses on all things business, wellness, and my life in Mexico. We moved to Mexico. It'll be a year on August 19th, and we started exploring the country in 2022.
I think I'm up next. Correct. Hello, everyone. I am Bobbi Robinson. I am a real estate agent here in Mexico. My website is, my brand actually is The Prepared Agent, as well as I am a co creator, co host of two YouTube channels. One is Aging Grateful, the other is Black Married Abroad. Three, yes, I have three. And the Prepared Agent as well. Thank you for those of you who, you see, my sister's got my back. But I've been here for 22 months here in Mexico, loving it, living the dream. And I am excited to talk all about being married abroad as well as how to rent and buy abroad. So I'm looking forward to this event.
Thank you. Hi, I'm Michelle Wedderburn. I am the founder and owner of Casa Elm, which is a boutique guest house located in central Mexico. I have lived in central Mexico since 2018. We basically specialize in offering a soft landing experience to anyone interested in moving to Mexico. We do relocation tours, we do sabbaticals, we do a lot of different things. So I think you need to mute yours, Danielle, if you can hear me. Yeah. So that's really what I do here in central Mexico. My talk on the weekend will be about starting a brick and mortar type business. In addition to that, being single, having a business, and having a child, and how that goes in my life and my world. And happy to share all my experience with anyone who is interested in my topic. Thank you. And crickets.
Oh, Danielle, can you hear us, Danielle?
Hey, Bobbi, you want to start with the
Yes,
questions? You want to start with the questions?
Absolutely. Let me go ahead and begin with some questions. Ladies, one of the questions that we want to discuss tonight is how has living abroad changed your personal identity or sense of self? How's that happened? Anybody want to chime in?
I
I
think,
will. Go ahead,
okay,
Alan.
go ahead. Okay, I'll go. For me, I think it has allowed me to grow as a person. I know I've said this before that in the States, you're really distracted and you're consumed with everything around you, with consumerism, your job, just transportating your kids from one place to another, going to work and everything, and you don't have time to really sit and discover who you are as a person. And I feel like being abroad has opened up that realm to explore interests, build friendships, and really figure out who I want to be and explore those different areas of my life.
Good. Michelle, you were going to talk?
I was going to say something along the same lines that I've found that it allows you to be more creative, also vulnerable. And I think within all those spaces, you really learn how to trust and have faith in the process. I really don't believe that hard work goes nowhere. It doesn't mean you have to, break your back or whatever, but I do believe that if you're working and doing things for yourself, creating things around the things you enjoy, that it does eventually come back around to being something you're very proud of and you can look at and say, I built this even when you felt very vulnerable. And I think that that's a big part of our message this weekend, and we will be ready for you. We promise this weekend. We're going to be ready.
Absolutely.
We all have been working really, really hard. So
Yes.
I think it's showing on Tuesday, but we're going to get lots of rest and we'll be ready for you by Saturday. Promise. Promise.
Absolutely.
So,
100%.
yes,
100%.
yes. So, for me, that's the growth. That's the growth.
I will say for myself, being a mom of 10 kids and working very hard, this kind of a slower pace and be able to focus on truly who I really am and who I really want to be has definitely changed since I've been abroad. I do have the ability to really focus here. Everything is not so fast paced. And so for me, that allowed me to really connect more with who I am. And I'm learning that every day. I am redefining what that looks like for me personally. So I definitely see a benefit and a plus in my world as far as living abroad. Anyone else before we move on? I'm going to take that as a no. And we will go on with the next question. I'm going to go ahead and say, how has your career aspirations or professional goals shifted since relocating abroad?
I've had a big shift.
Oh, yeah, you have.
Yeah, I've had a big shift. I retired in 2019, and so my job from that time on has just been managing my properties, right? But since I've come here, things that I've been doing just for fun or just a little bit here and there, I'm now doing more, and I'm doing it more. I'm doing it in a way that I knew what I was doing before, but now I'm really convinced that I absolutely know what I'm doing because I did things from the perspective of my own situation. But because I'm meeting so many different people in different situations that I never experienced, I'm having to rethink their situation and apply what I know to what they're doing. So I'm enjoying it, right? I am working again, but I am working and doing something that I absolutely enjoy. So it feels really good.
I have a question for you, Dee. Do you find that you're better than you thought you were?
I am. I am.
Okay.
Yes, I
Good
am.
question.
Because you
And
get
that's
to,
been confirmed for me, myself.
yeah.
Literally, I've looked at people's files and say, well, maybe I can't, this is not something I can tackle. But then when I look at it again and just kind of give it a different thought process or look at it from another angle, I figure it out. And I'm helping them, you know? So yeah, I'm finding out I am better than I thought I was. So
That's good. Good.
I'll go.
Yeah.
Um, I feel like for me, I'm currently working remotely from the States, but for me, moving abroad has opened up I guess, my horizons to other things, and to really want to not work remotely in the United States anymore. My goals have changed definitely. It's you have the goal of getting up to management, moving up and doing all of those aren't my goals anymore. My goal is to work for myself, to have my own business and flexibility and all of those things. So while I was an entrepreneur in the States, it's kind of taken on like a new meaning, and like I have a new, I guess, zeal for it, and wanting to be self-sufficient and not having to rely on another company or another person to, pay my bills, basically. So my aspirations have totally changed.
Great. Awesome. So, ladies, next question. What new hobbies or interests have you discovered since you've been moved abroad, since you live abroad now? Could be a good one because I know everybody has some interests and some hobbies. Come on. I'll speak for myself while we're waiting. I absolutely love social media. That's one of the things that I have delved into in the past, but I have been more and more challenged and in love with the process of social media. And so my hobby is being expanded. I will also say that. And my interests have turned towards helping people to also move abroad as well. That was something that definitely was not on my radar before moving, but now looking at life on the other side here in Mexico, I see that definitely there is something to be gleaned here, the beauty, the change in mindset, and I want to be able to share that with others. So my interests and hobbies have definitely expanded in this arena. Anyone else want to chime in?
Um, I'll go. So, for me, my interests and hobbies, I feel like I've definitely become more creative here. I have a lot more, I guess, flexibility to pursue that part of me. So, singing was always something that I did. I sang in the States, sang in church and things like that. But here, I've branched out and started actually like pursuing like singing more. I started painting, and like just doing different things with like clothes and fashion and things like that. Things that I've always been passionate about, but really didn't have the time to do when I was in the States. So.
Our stylist in resident there. Yes, thank you, Danielle. um, Alum, any particular interests or hobbies that you've picked up along the way that we should be aware of?
I mean, I've always had hobbies and interests, but I think I have more time to delve into them, like language learning and, various other things, journaling, just stuff like that I didn't have time to do before. And now I actually have this wealth of opportunity to explore. Haven't gone into town to do any kind of the art classes, but I would like to. I think it seem like they'd be a lot of fun. And maybe some of the more of the yoga and Pilates stuff. I think
That
that
part.
would be good for my body, good to explore new ways of movement. there's a lot that you can do here, and I feel like I hadn't even touched a
Oh,
percent of it.
Absolutely.
okay.
I would say that whew, I think that, like Ellen said, there is a lot to do here, and sometimes it's not always being able to find the time. But I think for myself, like I've always enjoyed cooking. So you all know, like I've been putting a lot more into that. Um, you know, it's different this way
And
because I
we
feel like,
appreciate you for that.
oh, thank
We
you.
do.
I
We
feel like I
do.
can be creative with it. Like I've always enjoyed infusing the experiences I've had traveling around the world into my foods. You know, like, okay, I grew up on this specific type of food, but now that I'm in Mexico, I'm always thinking, like, how can I infuse things that are normal cuisine here with the things that I grew up on? So that's something I think I'm really looking into more and more, finding like ways to be creative. But what I realized in regard to what I'm already doing, but what I didn't realize I did in the past was bringing people together and the community building aspect of not necessarily just community in San Miguel, but really being a part of, you know, opening that portal, I guess. I don't know how you would want to call it, but really focusing on how can other people also have access, just like Bobbi said, you know, it's like, it's for you too. And here's what I'm doing, and here's the life that I'm living, and here's how I did it. And I mean, that's what we're all here for, and this is what we're all doing. But when I was, let's say 20 years ago, I, you know, always had events and things that brought people together. And it, you know, it's like, okay, I came to this event and now I have 10 new friends, and now I know 20 more people and they know those people. And I think that that's what San Miguel has become. When I came here, I remember there weren't a lot of us in general. And so now to kind of just see us even on the screen working together and doing these things together, I just feel that that's, for me, it's been an interest, but not necessarily something I realized initially, you know, and now it's like my mission is to help as many people who want to be in a different place and a different chapter in their lives, you know, how across the board. I don't think it's just about relocating. It's also, you know, psychological. It's decompressing from all the stuff. It's connecting to people who really, really genuinely care about you. That's our group, you know, and I think that a lot of us are looking for that. So, yeah, I think that that's been like an interest that has come to the surface for me in the last year. Yeah.
That's beautiful. I do want to hit, I think it's, forgive me if I'm misspelling or pronouncing this right, but
It's New Runner.
New Runner. Okay, New
Yeah.
Runner 1. There is one that a question that you put up that kind of goes along with what we're talking about right now. I see you have a couple of questions, but the one that says time is money. Daniel, put that up there. Time is money. Do you have more time because you need less money? I think it's the one after that one, Daniel. Time is money. Do you have more time because you need less money or something else?
I would say
So,
you have more time because life is more convenient, and not necessarily because you need less money. It's just that it's more convenient. Access is easier. So instead of having to factor in commutes to everywhere, you might be able to walk to the place, or, you know, we often carpool somewhere, or you have friends nearby that maybe when I was in the States, we're so spread out, it's not possible to try to do just a simple potluck and simple showing up at other people's houses and enjoying time, because you're spending 30 minutes to an hour in the car to get there. Then you're spending a few hours, and then you're spending that time to come home. And it's just, you know, you have more time in the day, just the way the city is set up. It's, more access.
I will
And then
also say this. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Tracy.
um, to answer the question, time is money. Do you have more time because you need less money? I do agree with Allum as far as it's not necessarily about needing less money, but when you show up to make it, it's about showing up with intention and being compensated your worth. So it requires you to, it can require you to show up definitely more intentional, but also less often, you know.
I will also add on to that that as far as time is money, we are not necessarily bombarded with all of the you need to get this, you need to buy that, you need to do this, you need to go here. We're not bombarded with that so much. So that means that there's less things that are vying for our attention, so to speak. So we get that time and that mindset back, that peace back, which to me is more valuable than the money anyway. But definitely, I think it's because of the fact that time is a little bit different here than it would be. I'm not trying to work overtime so I can get the next latest and greatest thing. I definitely have the time to slow down and pause and really think about where my time is going. So thank you so much. Anybody else want to respond to New Runner One's question?
I do. I want to say too, for myself, because I have a business, that yes, time is money for me. And I find that it works here. Even I don't personally feel slowed down at all because I have a business that is a brick and mortar, right? However, I do feel supported. I feel supported because um, it's easier to get assistance and help and support here, and it's something that doesn't feel like it's only for the 1% per se. So it's like one of those things where it's like, okay, if I need whatever, I've had dinner parties where I forgot to buy enough wine. I can call literally a liquor store and they'll deliver within an hour. I can call to have meat delivered. I can have products, and this isn't, me ordering from the grocery store in an app. This is like the individual stores, the place that sells chicken. I call them and I say, hey, I need 2 whole chickens. Can you cut it up, clean the skin, whatever, and bring it to my house? So those are like the benefits that I think we don't necessarily have, and in the United States as our norm. It's not saying that it doesn't exist. It just means it's not our norm. It's like we have to go oftentimes to run around. So for here, I feel like there's a lot of those like conveniences that really helps you have more time to do more of the things that you really want to do.
Beautiful.
I
Yeah.
just wanted
Beautiful.
to add a little something else to that as well.
Yeah.
So, pardon me, I stepped away for a minute, but I think you guys said this, but I want to say it a different way. Things here are simpler, right? So the things that you want in the US are not going to be the things that you want here. So you're not going to need as much money for that. Not to mention some things are cheaper. So you can buy yourself time by having someone come in to help you. She mentioned, having her butcher deliver some chicken to her. Well, we can have our home clean, our food made.
Yes.
We have people that can come in and cook for you for the week, or come in and clean for you and free you up for something else that you would rather do. When I was in the States, sometimes when I was a technician, I would work longer to earn more money so that I could pay people to do what they do rather than me taking the time to do it. So it's kind of the same thing here.
Absolutely.
You also
Yeah.
you also don't waste time doing all of that red tape. So I need a prescription. I literally just take the box to the grocery store, to the pharmacy, and saying, I need 2
Yeah.
boxes of this. And there's no, like, I didn't have to go to the doctor and then make that appointment and then wait for them to give me the prescription and then take the prescription to the pharmacy and wait for the pharmacy to fill it. It was literally me taking one of my old boxes to the pharmacy and saying, "Do you have this?" And they said yes.
And adding on that, you don't even have to go to the doctor. The doctor will come to you.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, I want to go ahead and answer some questions also that are in the chat here, the comments. Thank you so much for your comments, everyone. Keep them coming. If you are actually enjoying what you are hearing so far, please go ahead and we'll go ahead and put the link to the Redefining Life Abroad Virtual Summit happening this weekend. Guys, you still have time to get your tickets. You still have time to get your tickets. Right now, like Michelle and everyone is saying, we have been busy preparing, guys. So definitely the energy will be brought. We are just taking our time and focusing right now for you guys.
It's been a long week and it's just Tuesday.
It has.
It is Tuesday, right?
Yes, it is Tuesday. So I'm going to go ahead and continue with New Runner 1. She has another question. How do you deal with the distance from family in the United States? Anyone want to answer that?
We make sure that they use WhatsApp when they message us because it's easier. Get the images and video come across a lot better. Make more an effort to call them and message them. And I'm only talking about, like, you know, my mom and my kids, but that's about it. They all have passports. I'm like, and I think about it because when we were in, we didn't see them all the time. So it's not really a huge difference with us being out because we probably see them as much. When I went back in May, I saw my daughter like every other day because she had her own life and her own schedule, and she had things that she was doing to this party, this outing, road trip. And so it's just like, okay, well, let me go back to Mexico.
Absolutely. Anyone else?
I was just going to say, each of us have had family come visit us. So all we did was give you guys another vacation spot.
That part. We've been back and forth to the States quite a bit for various reasons as well. And I realize that life is continuing on with them as it is continuing on with us. So, you know, our families, you know, we can do Marco Polo, which is kind of like a video chat or telephone or FaceTime. So it wasn't like it was a really big shift for us leaving the U.S. in order for us to stay connected with our families. Anyone else?
Yeah.
Go ahead, Danielle. Go ahead.
I was gonna say I had family just come and visit last week, and I feel like, you know, even when we were in the States and we were like a state away, we didn't have like visitors like that. Like, people try to get all like up in arms when you move abroad, like they were coming to see you anyway, and they really weren't. Like, if we keep it real. Like, I could be in the same state sometimes and I wouldn't see people for like a whole year or whatever. So I feel like the distance thing is just, if you want to see someone, you will, regardless of where they are. There's phone, there's FaceTime, there's all of that. So you know, the distance wasn't ever an issue for us because we always kind of lived at least a state away or a couple of hours away, even when we were in the same state anyway. So it didn't really impact us that much.
Absolutely.
And I think we're more intentional. Like, we're more intentional. My family, we have a text thread that we communicate, you know, through. It's like us and our children. We also have a group FaceTime chat. And so we're always talking, and I'm always stalking them on Lifetime or Life 360. So they know I'm always looking at their location, making sure that they're okay, and they stalk us. But in my particular case, like, I'm from Oakland originally, but moved to Atlanta. So when I left the States, and came to Mexico, we're smack dab in the middle. So we can get back to Atlanta in 3 hours and in Oakland in 3 hours, direct flights from San Miguel or from the airports here. So it's like I'm actually closer, but everybody has also been here to visit us as well. And just like Danielle said, they weren't always coming to see us, no way. And airplanes go both ways. So
That part. That part. We also have another question, guys, and thank you. I think Dee, you answered this question, but I still want to bring it up. One of the questions is from Not Before 10. How many of you ladies have a car in SMA, and what percentage of walking are you doing in your daily activities? Listen to this, y'all. Go ahead. How many of us have cars?
2 of us. So there's 2 of us. I don't like walking here that much, right? If I want to walk, I'm going to go on a purposeful hike somewhere. But this walking back and forth just to be walking, no. I got 2 dogs. I do enough walking. Michelle like walking, not me.
Michelle?
So when I first moved here, so I've been here for over 6 years, I thought I would live in Central, but then I didn't move to Central. And I think the majority of the people who live in Central, you don't need a car because everything is there. And, San Miguel, although it's a pretty big city, it's a compact city, meaning the areas where, you have lots of houses and homes and shops and all the fun things and the church and all the things that people like to see. It's in a very compact radius of the church, practically.
Yes.
For myself, though, what I realized in, I would say a 6-month span of time is I just wanted to have a car, had to take a child to school in the morning who didn't want to walk. I used to walk sometimes 10 miles a day because I like walking. I would walk from my house in La Leona. I would walk him to school. I would walk to Central with my computer, walk back to my house, walk back to pick him up, and then we would take the bus home. But one of the reasons why I have a car is because I want to leave San Miguel, not on someone else's clock, on my own. And I've always been that way, but you don't necessarily need it. I don't mind walking. I walk for exercise, but I like having a car. I like having a vehicle. Some people freak out about driving, and I just find that very interesting, especially if you come from the city. I'm just like, if you drove in a city, I don't know why you wouldn't be able to drive here. I can tell you San Miguel driving is some of the easiest, but it's not that way in all parts of Mexico either. If you go to Mexico City, it's like driving in New York City or somewhere else that's very aggressive. But in general, that's my spiel. I enjoy having a vehicle. I bought my car here. I did not bring it from the United States. It was a very easy process. I know that it's become a little bit more difficult. I think it's that you now have to have residency. When I bought my car, all I had was a tourist visa and I was able to buy a vehicle. I just had to get a Mexican driver's license, which was also easy because I already had a license. And I didn't have to give up my license in the United States. So I still have my US license and I have a Mexico license. Yeah.
I just wanted to add one more thing. Not Before 10, we're both from Chicago, right? And there's another person, New Runner. Oh, I'm sorry. Yes, Bobbi is as well, but she doesn't drive here. That's the only reason I didn't mention it. New Runner is from Chicago as well. People get a little freaked out about driving in another country, and they'll say, I don't want to drive in Mexico. People in Mexico, I think, they communicate with each other. I've seen less accidents here than I've seen in Chicago, or in a certain time period. Say if I'm talking about 3 months or 6 months, I would see less accidents in Mexico than I would have seen in Chicago or in Atlanta. And that is because these people communicate with each other and they're used to driving with one another. If you're looking at a city like Atlanta or Chicago, Atlanta specifically, those people are mostly from other places. So when you get people from other places and they're not accustomed to driving with one another, you have more accidents. People in Chicago drive very aggressively. And so you already know how to defensively drive. You will be fine coming to this country and driving. Here in what is this? San Miguel, you won't have any problems. I drove in Guadalajara, which is the second largest city in the country. No problems at all.
I will also say that here in San Miguel is a smaller city, so there's a not a lot or long distances that you have to walk for things. Like we literally, can walk down to Central if we wanted to. Also, one of our favorite things to do now is the Ruta bus, Ruta sites, if you know what I'm talking about. But
Ruta.
the Ruta. So, but we enjoy getting around with other means, and I find it quite refreshing that we have the ability to do that and not have to rely on a car so much, especially with maintenance of gas and car payments and all of that stuff that comes with it. So finding that refreshing.
I wanted to add something about the driving around Mexico outside of San Miguel. I have driven in Mexico a lot. You definitely need to think about where you're going, what time of day. There are various reasons. I would say the biggest reason, which I think is contrary to what people popular belief, someone's gonna try to kidnap you or whatever, is more so that it's very dark at night. They don't have like the same setup in a lot of places like we do in the United States with the street lights and all the things. And there's wildlife. And so sometimes, there's a cow that could be right at the corner of a horse or whatever. And this is even during the day, but during the day, you can kind of see it at a distance. So I have driven so much in Mexico, and I'm talking long distances, and it's pretty well laid out if you go on a toll road, just like it would be in the United States. You get on the toll road and you can follow the GPS just like you do in the US. I'll say the GPS is not as accurate, but there are ways to kind of figure that out. And I think that if you are a confident and comfortable driver in your country, that you can actually drive pretty fine in the US, in Mexico. And, Dee, you've driven from the US to Mexico. So you have that experience. I haven't done that, but I've driven to distances as far as 6, 7, 8 hours away from here. I've done it with just my son and I, 3 or 4 hours, to places that are surrounding San Miguel that I want to see and check out. And is one of the main reasons why I have a car. I like to be able to leave. I want to leave San Miguel.
Oh,
Sometimes
someone did that.
Get it.
Go ahead.
No, you do not need a Mexican. I'm getting a feedback.
You don't, what Dee was getting ready to say, you don't need a driver's license. However, I would recommend getting an international driver's permit. So if you have not left the States yet, you need to be present in a AAA to get it. It does not require that you take a driver's test. It's simply like you go, they take your picture, you fill out a form, you pay for it, and you have your international driver's permit, and you can renew them annually online. And you can also set a tentative date that you were leaving. So we did ours probably in May or June. We set our date for August. So we renew it every August, and it's an international driver's permit. And also go ahead. Sorry. No.
You do need a Mexican license to buy a Mexican plated vehicle, just clarifying. You don't need that if you want to rent a car, borrow someone else's car maybe, but if you want to buy a Mexican plated vehicle, you do need a Mexican driver's license. Yeah.
Absolutely. Okay, so guys, we also have another question from Get Out. What's something you thought you missed not being in the United States that you now realize that you don't miss?
Consumerism.
Anything?
Yeah, fancy things. Fancy things.
I think you both are saying the same thing. She said consumerism, you said fancy things, and I would agree with both. I feel like I would miss access to the ease of shopping, to Tracie's favorite place, Target. And
that is blasphemy. She
Uh-oh.
I had
knows
to get
this.
I had to get her off mute. But to like just the ease of like going to a place, but I feel like part of the growth process is coming here and realize that maybe some of that consumerism was hiding some feelings that you felt, so you're buying to fill something in yourself. And you don't do it as often. Um, when you're here. At least I haven't as often. There's still some Amazon, but because we need stuff. But other than that,
Mhm.
Yeah, I
I'm
don't miss
realizing.
the consumerism, especially for my child. I'm happy that he's not seeing all the kind of things that are being pushed on children, whatever that is, between clothes, toys, experiences in the US that are related to going to the mall to shop because there's a holiday and now we got to stack up the Christmas tree. Nothing wrong with that. I'm not taking away from the holiday, but I've taken a lot of time and effort to make sure that the things we're doing are memorable and more meaningful. He's not going to remember me buying him sneakers as opposed to we did a weekend trip on that Christmas to wherever, somewhere new in Mexico. He gets his gifts and things, but I'm just happy that he is not bombarded with these things, and also happy that when we go to stores here, there's very minimal, and this is maybe more so San Miguel, because if you go to the bigger cities, there's a lot of consumerism. But here, he's not bombarded with, every single aisle is trying to get, the kids to cry and scream so that the parents could buy them a bunch of things. They do have the toys and all the stuff, but I don't know. I just feel like it is just what Dee said earlier. It's a simpler life, a simpler existence, and I'm good with that. Yeah.
Absolutely, absolutely. There's a question from Butterfly Effect. What do you all do to maintain healthy interactions and connections with each other? Oh, this will be good. What do we all do to maintain healthy interactions and connections with each other, guys?
Eat lots of desserts at fancy places. Y'all could talk about that.
Dessert
Alan, tell us about your
desserts
donut place.
first.
Yes.
well, they deliver, so that's not necessarily maintaining connections, other than maintaining connections with the bakery that delivers the good donuts. But I don't have the connection Honey has because she gets like same day service, so it's different.
Absolutely.
I think I think we all do a really good job about staying in like community with each other, having regular conversations, meetups, brunches, dinners, things like that. We are, I think, very intentional about doing those things. Uh, and that's how we kind of maintain it, and we hold each other accountable to that. Kind of like, hey, what's going on? Haven't seen you in a while. How are you doing? And it's very easy here. It's not a
It
difficult
is.
thing to do. Yeah, it's not really difficult. There's not a lot of effort that has to go into it, because if you say, hey, let's go get tacos, someone is down and ready.
All the time. All the time. Oop,
And I
wrong way.
want to like say this. I think that to what you guys are seeing is just us here visible, but San Miguel has it's not a transient place. And so if you are looking for community and to build relationship with people that you know who are going to be here tomorrow or next month and potentially next year, San Miguel, that's how San Miguel differs from every other place from what I've seen in Mexico. So you can actually put down roots with people that are like-hearted as you are and get in community versus, well, are they going to be here? I don't want to get too close to people. You can actually spend time and cultivate those relationships.
And
I was
go
also
ahead.
going to add too that, I don't know how much, this person in particular, but other people have seen that there is a pretty significant Black community here in Mexico in general, but also in San Miguel. So you're seeing the six of us who banded together basically to do this and really help you redefine your life if you want to move to wherever, move to Mexico or anywhere else. But understanding like there are so many groups here of women, different demographics in terms of the ages and things like that, that get together and that do things just as we described it. There's a lot of activity. There's a lot of things to do. There are a lot of people who, found their circle, their tribe. We're kind of, I think, all in and out of different tribes, if that's a good way to put it. But I do think that people don't realize that our community is pretty big, and it's continuing to grow. And I think that no matter where you're coming from, that you will find a circle of individuals that you could connect with as well.
I also will go back to the point of San Miguel being so small as well, not a huge city, because when we say, hey, let's meet up to go somewhere, it's not like it's going to take us, an hour to get or 45 minutes to get wherever it is that someone is saying, let's meet. I mean, we literally, maybe 15, 20 minutes, maybe 25 at the most, travel time for us. So it's a little bit more convenient. And plus, we love everything about San Miguel pretty much. So there's not really many bad spots, especially if you go mentioning Cafe Umaran. I'm down, whatever time that is. So yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Cafe Umaran, yummy.
Wholeheartedly.
Yeah,
And
the
that
coffee there is
brings
really good.
into our next question, which is how has your approach to relationships and friendships changed in your new environment?
I feel that they're more genuine and they have more roots. For the vicinity, that's a part of it. Time, I think that, we are all adapting the Mexican culture, which is a little bit more chill, a little bit more laid back. But I think that we're all kind of like, what, all the things that had us running around in the United States, you can kind of like throw that to the back, right? And like you said, you don't have to always run home to cook the dinner. You don't always have to run over here to get the things because maybe they can be delivered to you. Whatever the reasons are, I think at the end of the day that we just have more time to grow the roots and water the seeds that the friendships have. And I mean, it's easy. I don't know. I find it easy here. I lived in Florida for over 10 years and I can count on one hand, and maybe that's even just part of my personality, how many friends I had. But I always felt that things were very superficial. The friends I had from way back, I still have them, but it's because we were younger, we had time to cultivate that. And, being in Florida, it always felt like, oh, let's go to happy hour, or, let's have like a party, let's go to a party, or let's go to a club. And there wasn't the time to really be really deeply connected in different ways and have intellectual conversations and talk about things and debate about things. Like on Sunday night, I had impromptu 6 women that popped up, and we had 4.5 hours of intellectual conversations. And all I did was lit a candle in the kitchen. We were literally almost in the dark, and we were just chatting and talking and talking. And this is not just within that circle, but it's like all of us do this, right? We all do this. So I don't know if there's an explanation for it, but I do think that it's the pace and the culture that we're adapting, and we want it. We need it. It should be our norm.
I agree with that. I think that we're more open also here. Like I feel like we came here with a little bit more of an open heart, versus when you're kind of guarded in the States. And I feel like because of the proximity and because of the size of the town and the group, you kind of have to come genuine. You know what I mean? Like you can't come any other type of way, because there's not like a million people here. You want to have like a good group of friends, like a genuine connection with people. And I feel like you have to come the right way. You can't, I don't know. I think that is a key thing that's different from the States, where you can kind of have like your surface friendships where you're like, these are my friends who are I can go to, like Michelle said, the club with, and these are the friends that like I actually, have a real connection with, who actually, know my personality, know me. And here it's like you want the quality over the quantity, I feel like, and we're all quality folks. We're all bringing
Yes.
our genuine selves. So
I also think that we are starting, everyone that we are connecting with, we're all starting from the same place. We have moved from one place to another, one country to another. So I think there's level playing field starting with that, and we're all learning the culture. We're all trying to live our best lives and explore what that looks like. So I think we already come with that little level of vulnerability, if you will, and trying to figure out like minds, or even people who may be a little bit different than ourselves, but we are wanting to make that connection and maybe grow in some aspect, or what have you. So I think that in and of itself allows us to build this type of community, because we are willing to be open to experience what that looks like for all of us. And as far as with locals as well, because we do have locals that are friends also, and I think just their warmth and kindness towards us, and them being open themselves to receiving, I think that makes it easy for us to be able to connect as well.
Also, I want to say, not coming with an individualistic mindset when you get here or when you get abroad. You really have to put yourself out there. The United States teaches individualism, and that's the way to go. But honestly, the rest of the world is more communal. So if you are used to doing everything by yourself, for yourself, with yourself, then and not putting yourself out in your new community, then it is going to be more difficult for you to get acclimated and get to know other people. However, when you say, like yesterday, we were walking, we were walking. Let me just say that we were walking. We weren't driving, because we don't have a car. And we ended up getting our, with that, for us, it was also a lifestyle change too. I think people want to bring the United States sometimes with them in various aspects. And when you are leaving the States where we came from, it's really about a lifestyle change. So being open to all kind of possibilities. But this guy, like, hey, how you doing? And like, we were like, hey, so he put himself out there. He was sitting outside. We ended up speaking with him for about 10 minutes. And then upon our departure, he was like, where are all the Black people? And I said, well, we're here. I said, but we're just, most of the people, they're living their daily lives, so that we're not tourists. And that's another beautiful part about San Miguel. But we ended up connecting him with, Elton, which is Danielle's husband, because he really wanted to get involved here in the community and get to know other men. But he put himself out there. So one of the things that is a pet peeve of ours is being a Black person abroad and you don't speak to other Black people. And when folks are from the States. So if you come abroad, make sure you put yourself out there. Make sure you speak. That's how you, put yourself in a different position to create community and be vulnerable. Because again, it's really about a lifestyle change and not bringing where you're coming from with you or who you are. Because honestly, you really don't know who you are until you leave all of that mess behind. And now you're trying to rediscover or redefining your life abroad.
That's really good. And that kind of, I saw a question about childcare and homeschooling. I'm gonna get to that in a second, but that kind of ties in with this next question of how has your sense of independence and self-reliance been impacted by living abroad?
So yeah, I'll go at it a little bit. Yeah, I'll go at it a little bit. Okay, so there's two things. You do need to be self-reliant, but you can't just depend on yourself. When you come here, you have to be able to switch on a dime if you have to, because some things just are not going to go the way you need them to go. So you've got to be resourceful in figuring things out, but you also need people around you that have already figured it out, right? That you can call and say, I don't know what to do. And they're going to help you, right? And so that's when you're building your community. You use those folks. And when I say use, I don't mean use them. I mean give and take with people. I can drive around my corner and I'm going to eat some vegetarian food at Danielle's house. If I go the other way, I'm going to eat at Michelle's house and Tracie's house. Tracie threw up her hand. I'm still coming to your house.
I mean, let me just say this though. You know, Danielle is walkable from Dee's house. So I'm just
hey. I'm taking things when I go. That's why.
Uh-huh.
Well, she brought food yesterday to my house. So thank you.
Oh,
Yeah, this
who
is
did?
how,
Dee?
don't wait, we're gonna fight offline, okay?
All I'm saying
so
we should settle this while it's recorded online.
No, so we do this, but no, yeah, yesterday Dee was like, oh, I paired up your rice and peas with whatever the vegetable medley was. And I said, oh, that's so pretty, it's so colorful.
Was
What's
that
in
the
it?
soup you made?
Yeah.
Oh, the one you showed us a picture of, but we didn't get to taste.
It was not soup. It's curry. Now get it right.
Okay.
It looked like soup.
So she was like, do you want to try it? And I was like, well, I'm about to run out with my guests. I have 3 ladies here. And I didn't even get to listen to her message. Next thing I know, I look out my window, her car's out there. I was like, okay, thank you. I love it. And then we started all talking. And I said, well, I'm going out to take them to, do something. Do you want to join us or whatever? So it's just that, it's like that. Our community is like a lot of spontaneity, a lot of just being included into things. You don't, doesn't mean you're all doing everything together all the time, every day. It just means that, we, one, are close in vicinity. And then we're also, close in just being like, let's, catch a vibe in Central, let's do something. And there's so many places to do that. That's not where it's like the top noise level and you can't hear each other and you can't speak. It's always somewhere where you can really cultivate those relationships. So yeah, I'm very grateful for it.
And everyone's helpful with the other.
Yeah. True.
Yeah,
What do they say?
Oh, go ahead. Whoever was going, go ahead.
Oh, no. I was just going to say, what do they say? Iron sharpens iron. And that's definitely something that I am finding that is special here, is that, we're supporting each other. And that is a really, really big thing that I found that was lacking where I was living. At least I can speak for myself. So just to have that is very, very special. Very special.
I also want to add just being able, those who are coupled, being able to form relationships outside of your spouse. And I feel like that's been really special here because even in the States, relationship are kind of paired up and not really individual friendships, even though those of us who are coupled tend to hang out together. But there's also these individual relationships that we've been able to form as well. And I found that to be really special and something I really wanted when I was in the States. And I just could not make work for one reason or another. People couldn't commit or for life got in the way of friendships. But here it just never happens. It's just someone's available and you're able to build a new relationship, a new friendship, a new coffee date. It's beautiful. That's my favorite part.
There's so many questions in the chat.
Are there? I haven't been looking.
Yeah.
Butterfly, my Spanish is very transactional.
Oh.
It's literally from Google Translate immediately out.
Oh no. I was going to get to the question about the children and the homeschooling. Okay, here we go. So from Not of This World, if you have children, are you homeschooling? Is there a school for expats? How did your children adjust? So
That will all be
we
covered in the
have
summit.
the
That will
school
all be
age.
covered in the summit. I don't want you to like give everything.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
I'm not going to get into it, no, but this is a topic that we'll be discussing at the summit this weekend. But long story short, I have children. They're not homeschooled. They are in the schools here in town. My son goes to a school where there are predominantly expats. He's in kindergarten, and my daughter goes to a more it's a private school, but it is ran by the Mexican government. And the children are adjusting very, very well. And Michelle, you
Yeah.
wanna?
I will.
Yeah, I'll chime in. Go ahead, Bobby.
I'm sorry. I was just going to say, I do have, from my perspective of someone who is not, my daughter is 17, she's a senior in high school, but she's doing it online from the state. So that's also another option for people as well. So.
Mm-hmm. So we've been here for over 6 years, and there's lots of options. And so you can homeschool if you want. I learned a lot about the different types of school options, and I think I've learned to loosen up about the traditional way that we're used to going to school, sending our children to school in the United States and the best zip code and all the things. And here, I feel that education for me is it's an experience that incorporates everything. And moving here so my kid can really get the full big picture. There are lots of options here, lots of choices. And so get your ticket, and we'll be talking a whole lot about that on Saturday. You can even buy the replay. Yeah.
Yes. And Michelle is saying that, you guys, just a reminder, you still have time to buy your tickets. We will be all doing our best and presenting some incredible and amazing information on August 10th and 11th at the Redefining Life Abroad Virtual Summit. The link is in the comments there. Go ahead and get your tickets. And Danielle, I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, yeah, go ahead, keep going.
Yeah, I was going to say, just in case you didn't realize, that was this week, Saturday and Sunday, because the time in the year is really going by fast. That's this week. Get your ticket. We're working hard so we can bring it to you again.
So NG, the LGBTQIA community in SMA is growing. And that's something that Dee and I are going to be speaking specifically about during the summit. So can you believe, I'm really excited to have that conversation with people. And then also, as far as finding rentals, that is going to be what Bobbi is going to speak about.
Yes, and no, it's not hard to get short-term rentals, but purchase your tickets so you can get all the goods and the information behind how to do that and what that looks like for you as well.
All right. Were there any other comments or questions in the that you guys saw that you wanted to bring up?
Someone asked about Spanish. How's the Spanish coming along?
Oh yeah, how's our Spanish coming along? Mine,
Español está bien. That's it. It's okay.
Aprenda. I'm learning.
Muy poquito. Very
we
little
all are
Spanish.
learning.
Muy poquito, pero aprenda. I'm trying to learn.
Sí.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I also think that speaks to like putting yourself out there again. For if you are anything like myself, I don't do good, or at least I choose not to take Spanish lessons at this stage. But it's very, like Alan said, transactional or conversational. I find that I want to learn through the local people, with the local people. I'll ask them, like our housekeeper teaches me a lot of Spanish, and just learning things that way. I learned faster and better in that regard. And then also when I do decide to take Spanish lessons here in San Miguel, you can go learn with the locals. It's like an hour exchange or some time exchange. They want to learn their English and we want to learn their Spanish, and there's a trade that we do. So I like that more, that style of more immersive learning.
I find Spanish is easier to learn when it's something you have to use. Like when I need to go pay the bills or I need to speak to someone, those are phrases I tend to remember more often because it's like, okay, I have to practice this before I say it. And now, since it's something that I need to say, I'll remember it because I actually had to use it in order to communicate something. And that's how a lot of our Spanish has picked up.
I just want to add this. My Spanish is not too great. I understand more than I can speak, but please understand, we're not just talking about San Miguel. I was in Guadalajara. I spoke more Spanish there because they speak less English there. And when you're in a place where they're going to speak less English, you're forced to speak Spanish, and they're patient with you, so it's not going to frustrate you. They'll give you time to use translate. They'll give you time to use the words that you know, and pointing actually works very well. But people will help you along, so you don't necessarily need to. I'm gonna learn Spanish before I go. Don't do that. Come here and learn whatever you need to learn, whether it's you're going here or wherever you're going.
I actually prefer the Guadalajara way because they will look at you and just wait. They'll help you, but they will wait. Like, we are not getting ready to speak your English. But I like
Right.
being forced to learn that way. Here in San Miguel, you get a little bit more spoiled because it's such a tourist destination that they're accustomed to people speaking English. But there is a good handful of people who don't as well.
I
And then
would
sometimes you can
recommend
just
that you
say,
learn your numbers, though. Learn your numbers.
absolutely. Don't worry about them ABCs. You got to learn them numbers, child.
Yeah.
Money, 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 money. Yes.
Read the peso. Read the peso. Read the number on the peso because, that's going to be the most helpful part.
Absolutely.
For sure. All right, y'all. Well, it's getting late, so I'm gonna ask one more question, and then I want us to all just kind of give an overview of what we're going to be talking about this weekend for those who are joining us who may not know all about the summit, but have asked some questions and want more in-depth answers. So our last question is, how do you envision your future now that you've experienced life in a different country?
I envision, well, I can't say envision, I'm living a lot of what I think will be similar in the future. I do think that, all of us are going to continue to grow in the things that we want to do and probably be able to have more of a choice of how we end up saying we don't want to work anymore, like really don't want to work, versus, kind of being in line with the traditional, work to this age and do this and then get your 401 and all the things. Nothing wrong with that. But I do think that we will have left a lot of legacy behind us and passing those things on. That's sort of how I envision my future in terms of my child as well. I'm very, very excited, God willing, to see him as a grown up and how, us moving here when he was 6 changed the trajectory of everything and in my future, his and beyond. I really think that it's going to be quite interesting to see how all the global citizens and the children of those global citizens, what the results will be later on down the line. Yeah.
Absolutely. I see that. Oh, go ahead, Danielle. Go ahead.
Okay, well, I was just going to say that I think that the future is whatever I want it to be now. Like, I feel like the sky is really the limit, and I feel that this move has enabled me to see life differently, to see my future differently. I feel like it's added years onto my life just from the release of a lot of like the stress and anxiety that I was dealing with daily. Um, my thought processes have changed in the overall just how I look at life and what is actually important. So for me, I feel like the future is just very bright. I look forward to creating generational wealth for my family and my future generations to come, and having just opening up a new mindset for the family that's still in the States that wouldn't have thought that this was an option for them. So yeah, I'm very excited about my future now that I'm abroad.
Bobby, did you have something?
I was just kind of like what she was saying already. I see my future as a life without borders. I see that this is the start to us truly understanding what global citizenship really is, and that there is no limitations on that other than the ones that we place upon ourselves. So that's what I envision.
I wanted to add one short thing is if you are of any other descent and you have the opportunity to get your citizenship elsewhere, do it. Whether it's the
Okay.
islands, Jamaica, Canada, anywhere else in the world, just have options, get your passport, get your citizenship in other countries, because we just don't know what's happening with the world right now, the US.
What's the question?
Danielle, you had a
I'm glad
question
you
about,
asked because I forgot to.
she said,
What's the question again?
Oh, okay. The question that I asked, I thought you were talking about this last one. Okay. So it was, how has your sense, oh, wait, no, that's not it. Sorry. How do you envision your future now that you've experienced life in a different country?
Out of me? So, for me, it is really more so about continuing to be the possibility of. Um, I know my purpose here on this earth is to impact other women. Like, I know that. And my work and my legacy before San Miguel speaks to that. It just looks different now. I see myself more so like speaking at destination retreats. Something more luxury, like in that regard, to really empower women, primarily Black women, because I am one. And so I always want to, as best as I can, as creator sees fit for me to do, and let my life be like an example of what your life could possibly be. It doesn't mean it doesn't come without challenges or hurdles. It just means that having the courage to say, like, you can do this too. And as long as people are willing, because I'm not going to ever work with anybody who's not, just reaching behind and bringing you with me, not where I'm carrying your load, but showing you like the steps of what you can do for yourself, and make your life better for you, how you see fit. So I kind of see that continually for myself. And then also, with my spouse, just release, relax, relate, release. You remember that from a different world. Sometimes people tend to be a little bit more like rigid because the United States will make you that way. The United States will make you rigid. Some people do have type A personalities, but I also think it's systemic because of how society makes you.
Yeah.
And so, it does put years on your life. We are all aging backwards. And to watch that happen in real time is really, really shocking. Like to see your friends age backwards or to see yourself age, it's a shock, but it's a beautiful thing to witness. And then continuing to get healthier. I think health needs to be prioritized. And I think with a life abroad, you can take more of the reins of what your health and wellness looks like without the pressures of the States with, all the processes and the red tape and the fake food and that whole thing.
I will speak from
Anybody
a
else?
different point of view. I'm going to speak from a different point of view. And I see my life years down the road in a more healed space. Having ease of access has helped remove so much anxiety from my life that, I dealt with a lot of not wanting to do things because of the process that went into it. Like, oh, I don't feel like making a doctor's appointment because now I'm have to go to the primary care, and then I have to wait for the next one and next one and so on and so forth. And so I would delay the action of doing because I knew the process was so overwhelming. Being here has helped me heal in that regard because I can cut out so many steps just to deal with my own health. And so I see myself in the future in a more healed person um, in my old age who has lived a beautiful life and started to live a beautiful life in her 40s.
That's beautiful. All right. Well, before we wrap up, what I would like to do is I would like to go just around and have everyone just kind of talk about briefly what we're going to talk about on Saturday for those who have yet to get their tickets. If you do not know, we are the speakers for the Redefining Life Abroad Summit, which will take place on August 10th and 11th. Tickets are still available. You can get them now. We have a link in the comments. We also have the website up here on the screen right now. And we will just be sharing our lived experience and expertise because we have some amazing experts here on the screen who are going to talk to you about we're going to go through. So I won't say everything. I'll let everyone speak for themselves. But for me, I will be speaking about living abroad with children. I have two children, ages 11 and 6, who are thriving here in Mexico in the school system. I am going to be talking about their adjustment period and even before our move, just preparing them for the move abroad. Now that we're here abroad, just some of the things that we've dealt with in terms of their adjustment that are pretty common for most children, and then how to thrive as a family, how to get through the transition, because it is a very big transition moving your family abroad. So those dynamics definitely change. So I'll be discussing that in depth, along with just giving you some tips and insight on the process of enrolling your children in school, just the different opportunities that are available for them in terms of education and also supplemental education as well. All right, Dee?
Yeah. This summit is redefining life abroad. But what I talk about doesn't just have to be abroad. In the days that we're in now, we're in an age where people are being automated out of their positions. We are in a divisive, some countries are very divisive right now. I'm not sure if you're in one of them. But in this time and age where we're dealing with everything coming at us, we need to have our money right. And the way you do that is by investing, right? So I'll talk about how you get over the fear of it, how you start to do it, and why you need to do it right now. And the effects that it can have on your life and your children's life or people in your circle in their life as you go on. What I teach is not about today. It's not about tomorrow. It is about your lifetime. That's what I'll be talking about, investing. Oh, as well as I'll be joining Tracie, speaking on the LGBTQIA community, how we need to travel. We just have to travel differently, and we'll discuss things like that.
Yay.
Allum?
I'll go next. I will be talking about freelancing and government contracting. I'm going to go over a few careers that are viable and that you can start while you're still in the States and carry with you abroad, as well as some platforms that you can use to help you find viable work. I'm also going to do a short walkthrough of sam.gov, which is the government contracting website, how you register and how you use it to search for contracts, as well as if you're looking for freelance work, how you can use it to find potential clients. The other talk is going to be a tech talk. So I'm going to do a short conversation about the tech that I use in my business, as well as the tech and things you should set up before you leave, and social media privacy and VPN setup. So that way you can maintain your location privacy. So those are things I'm going to speak about.
So for me, I am going to speak briefly about mindset, shifting your mindset and shifting your wellness to your new life abroad. And then I'm going to go into business infrastructure. So it'll be 2 talks in one for me. Business infrastructure for people who are entrepreneurs and who live in the digital space. If you're looking to get into in the digital realm of working online, and then how to properly set up and automate your businesses, but making sure that you have the proper infrastructure to kick it off. And then, just like Dee said, we will be talking about LGBTQIA rights abroad. Life abroad, rights too, and safety and culture and legalities around that.
I'm
So
sorry,
it's my
Tracie.
turn.
Yeah, I'm sorry. 1 second. Tracie, Black Flourishing and Free just joined in. Can you speak a little bit about
That's what I,
her?
that's what
Yeah, I'm sorry. Go on.
Yeah,
I was
so
about to say that.
Black Flourishing and Free is Zalani, and she too has left her home country and lives abroad as well with her young daughter. And she is our recommended therapist for this event. And the reason why Zalani is in place is because you can't do this without mental wellness and health support, like your mental health and wellness support abroad. A lot of times people think it's just about how do I get abroad, but people don't really understand the impacts of staying abroad on the mental aspect. So Zalani we're going to give you all of the information, then she's going to get you right mentally so you can handle the information and implement everything that we're talking about. Okay. So that's her.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And again, as I mentioned earlier, at my talk will be, well, I have 2 talks actually. One will be about being married and being abroad. And I'll be talking about such things as the tough, candid conversations that you need to be having before you move abroad as a married couple, as well as the continued conversations, the continued steps, the continued thought processes that need to happen both as individuals and collectively as a couple in order to have a flourishing and successful marriage abroad. So I'll be talking about that. And then my second talk that I'll be having is on something that I love as well, which is real estate. You want to be able to move abroad effectively and find yourself a home to buy or someplace to rent. I have all the goods, all the information, all the processes and documentations that are required for you to be able to do that so you can make the right decision about the new place that you're going to be calling home. So stay tuned.
And I will be talking about basically having a brick and mortar business in Mexico, whatever that looks like for you. I'm going to go through the challenges, the types of things you need to prepare yourself for, how you hire locals, which I highly recommend, the types of contracts, the laws, how the labor laws work here, about the taxes and the FEIN numbers and all the things that you need to know so that you're legal. And also to just kind of encourage anyone who is interested in doing it, that it seems sometimes daunting, but it's actually something that is quite possible that there's less red tape, in my opinion, than doing a business in the United States, probably less overhead, things like this. And the fact that there are a lot of needs here in various parts of, and I'm going to focus on Mexico because that's where I am, but there are a lot of needs across the board. And I also think that if you have an idea or passion about something, that this is a very viable place to bring it to fruition, and how you do that. So just what are the permits? How much does it cost in different states? What types of help you need to hire to like help you with that process, and also understanding the culture of things and how they work here. It's a lot slower, and why it's important to create relationships with the locals so that you really are getting in and getting the best deals and the best prices and quotes on things, because most of the time, if you are going to get a space, you really need to probably fix it and have it be what you need it to be. But I think sometimes we think it's going to be so absorbent, and it's not. So we're going to talk about all those details. And then my other talk will be about being a single person with a child and being here and how I navigate that. And for me, it's really something that I find easier than I did in the United States. So we're going to have those two talks in my sessions. Yep. Join us.
Can we really quick go over just the difference in tickets so people understand the difference in what they're getting in their packages?
I was just going to say that.
Perfect.
Oh,
that was because you.
Oh.
She was like,
Hold
"Did you see
on.
her grab her pearls?" Bobbi,
I was going to say that, but not to be the person that says that. Danielle, can you add my other screen to the live? You might see it down at the bottom.
And the reason why
I think
want to make sure that you guys understand this is that so you have available information, because we can't cover everything all at once. So we have different sessions. There's the talks on Saturday, but then there's private talks on Sunday for people who want more. And then Allum is getting ready to go over the difference in the packages.
Yeah, so I want to make sure everyone understands that these packages are only for people who buy the ticket before the summit goes live. The perks are not going to be available for if you buy it after the summit, because a lot of the ladies are giving coaching sessions immediately following the summit. And so they have to have their capacity set and understand who's all going to be joining their coaching calls, and you might miss it. So it's going to be very limited what you may get if you buy after the summit. But these are the two packages that we have. You have the All Access Pass for $249, and that is going to give you a group coaching call with Michelle, a group coaching call with Tracie. These are separate group coaching calls, as well as a group coaching call with Bobbi and Said is Bobbi's husband. And you're going to get a digital business bundle from Tracie is sponsoring that. And I am sponsoring a freelancer toolkit, which will be much more comprehensive and include a lot more of where you can find remote work and different careers that you can absolutely start before you move abroad. The weekend pass right now gives you 72-hour access to the summit. So 72 hours after the talk goes live, you can view that talk over and over again until the time has expired. So hopefully that helps you make a better decision. We have Tracie on the homepage. I don't even know if you saw that, Tracie.
Yeah, I was just as shocked as you were when I
I just picked one of your videos, but as you see, we have the Yarbroughs who did a very beautiful video. I'm not going to play it here, but check out the link, visit, watch what our sponsors have to say. It is going to be an amazing summit happening this weekend. We are so excited to, do this for everyone and share with you from people who have actually done it. what you should actually know when it comes to moving abroad.
I was going to add one more thing too, is I'm not sure where all of our testimonials and sponsors are, but there were quite a few that really were a part of this process. So definitely check them out if you haven't seen them.
Mm-hmm. Every sponsor
Someone-
has a page.
Facebook page. Okay.
They have their own page, and we have beautiful sponsors from Black State Global, 7997 podcast, and Zolani, who is also sponsoring. We have
Adelia
Borshade, who has also sponsored the summit, as well as a few others. And
Riza, we did that. That came out yesterday or the day before.
mm-hmm.
Yard Rose.
Yeah. So amazing sponsors. Please, if you're interested, click the link, join the summit. We look forward to hosting you.
Also, there is, we do want you to join our community Facebook group. Come join the party. You can do that now. You want to see all the videos from our sponsors and our local, excuse me, not local, well, Mexico therapists, as well as all of us and videos from what we do on a daily basis, which is to encourage and educate, inspire, and to love on you. So please join the Facebook group as well. That's actually in the comments also. And again, be sure to get your tickets and tickets for your friends.
So
We did have
as far as the time, go ahead, Danielle. I'm sorry.
Oh, I was
Excuse me, 1 second. Can we, Mahendra probably needs to go. Can we let him, thank you for coming. Get him out.
I banned them. Go ahead.
we had a question about what time the summit starts. It's 8 a.m. Central Time, right? Like, it's
I'm
early.
looking. Yeah, it's early because we didn't want to hold everyone late in the day. So I believe the time is 8 a.m. Eastern, because I operate on Eastern. I'm not sure about Central. I'm sorry, 9:15 Eastern Standard Time.
Okay, so that will
So
be
that's when
8:15 for Tanya, because she says she works nights, so that should be.
And you still have replays, so those will still be available to you, depending on your ticket. The All Access Pass will have access until November, and the weekend will have access for 72 hours.
Also, please share this information with someone that you feel would benefit from it as well. That would be great. Alan, will we get the link?
So I said
What's that?
for
Jetta.
the link for to purchase.
No, the link
It's in the
to join the summit. It's in your portal. It should be. Usually that's how Hey Summit has it set up. Correct, Alan?
the link.
Yeah, once you sign up for the summit, you will receive notifications from Hey Summit on how to join, and direct links and reminders letting you know that the sessions are about to start. The link to the summit is in the chat. It should also be in the description, Danielle. So you should be able to click the link and join the summit.
All right, everyone. Thank you so much to our people who have joined this live. We appreciate you. We appreciate your questions. We are looking forward to seeing you Saturday and Sunday. Don't forget, we have Q&A sessions on Sunday as well. You don't want to miss any of these beautiful faces before you and the hard work that we have all put into this event. Again, as we said before, please share this. If you like this content as well, please do yourself a solid and like and subscribe. And again, share this live and follow each of these incredible women on their YouTube pages also. And with that being said, does anyone have any other questions?
I'm looking forward to meeting people on Saturday and Sunday. Like, I'm one of those people, if you're looking for formality, I'm not going to be your girl, because I love interacting, like conversations and seeing your eyeballs and what resonates with you or not. So I'm really looking forward to meeting you guys this weekend, and hopefully what we all have to offer is impactful enough for you to change your life.
It's time to get out.
Yay. No, for real. I
Much
mean,
love, everybody.
I'm not going to say anything.
Yes, you are. You just said something.
No, I'm not going to say anything.
Yeah.
I
didn't touch you. You touched me.
Not it.
Bye.
Bye-bye.